get started.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Alexis Carabinas, and this is my interviewee, Brian Hutchinson, for the Middle Adulthood interview. Hi, Brian.
Hi, Alexis Carabinas.
All right, so question 1, what age are you?
I am 40 years of age.
You're barely making this interview. Cool. Question 2, what are the visible signs of aging that you have noticed that are happening at this time in your life?
Oh, I have crow's feet like crazy. I do a lot of self-portraits, and so I notice that. Every detail about myself. So, like, I'm getting a lot of wrinkles here. I notice that these bags are getting a little bit heavier. I also notice that, like, it's harder to keep the belly porch fat off. Like, I got to do a lot more cardio than I used to have to like, keep it at bay.
Definitely. Some things we talked about in middle adulthood is that our body kind of goes in a decline at this age. It's very slow, sometimes faster than others. And this is around the time where we start to really notice that.
I'm feeling it.
Question 3, does your family have hereditary heart problems, cancer, hypertension, or diabetes?
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm going to start with diabetes, yes. Both sides. Heart disease, yes, on my side. My father had a heart attack when he was actually my age, but he's pretty unhealthy. What else? Oh, yeah, hypertension, yes. High blood pressure.
Cancer in your family?
My blood pressure is like a little bit high. It's on borderline ed. So my doctor's telling me, either keep running or got to get on some statin drugs. Yeah, cancer all over the place. Skin cancer. My grandfather passed away from pancreatic cancer. Of course, I've got brain cancer, had brain cancer. Currently in remission, which is cool. Let's see, what else? Yeah, there's a lot of that stuff. I mean, genetically, we're pretty, like, the deck is stacked against us for sure.
Are you aware of any signs and symptoms of these health problems?
Oh yeah, I pay attention to my body a lot because I know, I know that these are problems that my family's battled, and they're the kind of things that I don't want to sneak up on me. So yeah, I keep regular appointments with my doctor. I check my weight. I check all my issues, whatever.
And having brain cancer, you really have to stay on top of it because it could something that could reoccur in many ways.
Yeah,
makes you more aware. Definitely,
and it's it's not been something that really scares me or upsets me. Luckily, I take the view that it's given me a chance to really work on myself in a more positive way and make sure that I'm getting as many quality years as I can.
Great.
So,
question 4, since entering the stage of life, have you noticed any cognitive or intellectual decline in how you make decisions or remember things?
So my memory's not as sharp as it used to be. I used to really be able to remember stuff easily. Now it takes me longer to retrieve something. I mean, I can still retrieve it usually within the same day, sometimes just a few minutes later, but it's not like right there like it used to be. Let's see, I've also found that when I don't spend time reading, or I don't spend time like filling my brain with intellectual or educational type stuff, like if I'm not taking classes or if I'm not doing some kind of an intellectual activity, that my brain it wants to dull a little bit, doesn't want to remain sharp. So like continuing study, working on the doctorate program, reading, listening to TED Talks, watching TED Talks.
Filling your brain with information to keep it higher.
Yeah,
I guess at a higher level.
And having conversations with my friends and that are not just fart jokes and not just like the Chiefs suck or whatever.
There you go.
Talking about substantive things, that helps me stay pretty sharp.
Great. And we just watched a video the other day where people in this age period are really sustainable to learning new knowledge and accepting new intellect, so especially technology in the office. If you're open to learning new things, it keeps you at a better sharpness in the mind, I guess.
Okay.
So that's something to think about.
I can imagine people my age are probably a little bit rigid when it comes to new technologies too, but I try to remain up if I can and open.
Great. Question 5, how have your relationships changed with others since entering this stage of life? Spouse, significant other, parents, children, co-workers, neighbors, students, etc.
Oh, my kids are almost adult, legally. Well, legally, one of them is, and the other one is, she's pretty mature. But I've noticed that my relationship with both my kids have changed from a more active stance to more like a life coach type scenario where I speak to them more as adults. I still get mad at them and I want to wag my finger at them, but like they feel really disrespected by that. So I try to treat them with more responsibility and maturity.
Almost on the same level kind of thing. Not exactly
Not
the same
level.
level.
But like, and it helps that that most of my students are their age because I know how to speak to that age of human being. Like I know what their intentions, their motivations are. I know what they think about and go through on the daily. Not everything, but most. My relationship with my wife has changed quite a bit because she's starting to get really nervous about, basically about like not having kids in the house. You know, our whole life has been really hectic and busy with kids, dogs, you know, the American dream, I guess, whatever. And I don't know if she's worried about sitting around like staring at each other all the time and becoming unhappy or whatever, or if she's just nervous, but I'm not nearly as nervous about it, so I have to be a lot more patient with her and be like, oh, I understand, you know, things like that, even though I'm like, get out of here, I'm ready to like make art, you know?
You understand where she's coming from.
I don't empathize, but I sympathize.
There you go. So, question 6, what is your career at this time? And you can give all your labels that you have.
Oh, okay. So I'm an instructor in the art and design department. I teach art education, drawing, printmaking. I manage I don't manage, I advise a club, Creative Arts Society. I do a lot of committee work. I make art. I've been making art like crazy, getting ready for a show. What else? I was a K through 12 secondary teacher. I've taught all different levels throughout my life, working on my PhD. So thinking about moving up, you know, at some point, you know, possibly administration, possibly just looking at just a studio job of some type. I don't know that I'll do this the rest of my life, but you know, I want to be prepared to move on and stretch my legs.
Are you comfortable and content with your career?
I'm never comfortable. I think that's one of the things that gives me an edge, I think, professionally and personally. I put myself in uncomfortable situations all the time because that's how I grow and that's how I learn, and really that's how I teach my students. By pushing them, getting them out of their comfort zone, they're trying new things, they're having some expectation failure in life, and they're informed that, you know, maybe what they had conceived of as you know, life as being comfortable or whatever is really, you know, just sort of a stagnant way of going about life and going about education. So I always want to learn new things. I always want to try new things. You know, I kind of believe in this Renaissance concept and idea. I feel like we over-specialize as a culture. I feel like the pressure, especially for students like you at your age, to specialize and be the best at that one little like super niche thing. I just feel like that's the wrong way to approach it. To be happy in life, you know, you've got to do stuff that makes you happy, and you've got to get to this level of contentment with it. And when you're done with it, drop it and move on to the next thing. So.
There you go. I was going to ask you if you wanted to advance or change in your career, but you obviously want to always advance.
Well, I love teaching. I love making art. I love working with younger people. You know, I'll always stay within that realm. I'll always teach. I'll probably never stop teaching. But, you know, I don't know that I'll teach what I'm teaching today. And as far as the art that I'm making today, I'm always looking to branch out into new and different media, try new things. So hopefully my art doesn't look the same way in 20 years as it does today.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Question 7, what lifestyle choices have had a strong impact on your health status? Exercise, diets, habits, etc.
Exercise definitely has had a positive impact on my life. I've always been somebody who exercised even when I was young, but the cancer diagnosis put a finer point on that. I realized after I came out of surgery and stuff, my doctor told me, you know, you had a pretty smooth transition, Brian, as you were, you know, healing or whatever, and that's largely due to the fact that you're in good shape. He said, my advice to you is maintain that because it's going to come back most likely, and you need to be prepared to battle it again. So that again, that put a finer point on. But I'd always been somebody that, like, I'm an energetic person. I honestly have trouble sleeping if I don't run, if I don't exercise. So it's just like for overall mental health, physical health. throughout my life, I've done different things like cessation of drinking completely for several years at a time. You know, looking for some kind of moderation there. I have a lot of addiction in my family. A lot of folks that are very, they're very slavish about their tendencies when it comes to social drinking, things like that. It's not social for many of them. It's like, it's their life. I don't want that. I don't want that kind of suffering. And so, every now and then I flex that muscle. I eat well. I don't eat like a bunch of garbage. Occasionally I do have, like I gotta have a Baconator every now and then. I mean, I gotta have like a slice of Casey's pizza every now and then. But by and large, I make sure that I count my protein. I make sure that I have as many grams of protein per pound of weight that I am. I make sure that like most of my carbs are coming from vegetables and whole wheat and whole grains, things like that. I take supplements to keep my body in good shape. So yeah, I'm very, very much aware that I'm declining. That I'm not getting any younger, and so I'm very interested in keeping my machine, in good shape. So.
Some people, when they hit this stage in adulthood, they either do what you're doing and they stay on top of it, or they just let it happen, or let the steady decline almost be further than itself. So there are people who give up on that aspect, or they want to reach a new point and stay active and keep their machine working, as you say. If you could change your choices from the past, what lifestyle choices would you change?
Lifestyle choices, huh? That's interesting. So one thing I know that I would do differently is that, and it's nothing negative to say about Fort Hays State University as an institution. I'm extremely proud and happy to be a part of the faculty here and somebody who can contribute to the students in a manner that that was beneficial to me as well. But I kind of wish I had gone to graduate school at a different university, just because I feel like I could have stretched my legs a little bit more as an artist. I feel like the education I got here, though, in order to become licensed to teach was fantastic. My undergraduate degree was great. My grad degree was great, too. I really feel like, I wish I would have traveled more. I wish I would have gone out and had different experiences and met different people instead of kind of sticking so close to home. We had kids pretty young. That was kind of one of those things that my wife and I knew we wanted kids, but we didn't really talk about how young we wanted them. Pushing that off might have made it easier for me to go to grad school. So, yeah, I don't know. Other than that, I really don't have a lot of regrets.
I think you've talked about even like your family past experiences, you really didn't want to follow in that kind of footstep situation. So
oh yeah,
that connects to it as well.
Always had strong goals. Like my family, very blue collar. I'm the first college educated. I worked against the grain for sure when it came to my family. Not my family now, but the family that I came from as a young man. But yeah, so I've had a very strong directional focus my whole life, pretty much.
I relate to that as well.
Right on.
And the final question, I think it's 2 parts.
Okay.
Question 8, do you predict you will or have you felt like you have experienced a midlife crisis?
I don't know. My wife will claim that I have. Anytime I do something that she deems to be a little bit like out of the ordinary, she's like, "Is this your midlife crisis?" I don't know. Like, I wanted a motorcycle one time, like really badly, because I thought that was really, I wanted some kind of excitement or whatever. But I don't know. I don't think I've hit my midlife crisis, so to speak. I don't even know what it'll look like.
Well, for example, you have this career now, but say 5 years from now you wanted to be an RN because you either got bored of it or you didn't feel as though your life purpose was met, that kind of thing. So that's what we kind of relate to midlife crisis. Okay. Or if someone worked at a bank for 5 years and went to home every day, had dinner at 5 every night, and then suddenly they became a night person who went to the club every day because they felt as if their age was stopping them from living their life.
I got you. Okay.
Kind of removing the age or higher adulthood that they have, and they want to go back to when they were younger.
Okay. I don't think that I'll change careers, but I think that I'm going to gain new skills. Like, I've often thought about getting a different degree just to see if I could do it,
Mm-hmm.
to try it out for a while, but I'm not unhappy with where I'm at, so I don't feel a need to change due to happiness or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's maybe learn to like yodel. I don't know. Like, I guess I've always wanted to. I've always wanted to do like some big impressive presentations and things like that. Like, I wanna really make a name for myself, and so the clock is ticking, and so I feel like, as an artist, I'm gonna need to kind of up my game a little bit and get a little bit more aggressive with my show entries, my aesthetic, which I'm not willing to compromise just to get into a show either. But I could be like making pretty things and landscapes and flowers and still lifes and be like, yeah, I could sell some stuff, but I'm still more interested in expression. I don't know. We'll see what it looks like. I've never gotten a tattoo. Maybe that's my midlife crisis.
Who knows?
Right?
You
I don't
never know.
Not sure.
All right, I think that is the end of the interview. Thank you so much for being a participant in this interview. And if you can click that same button that we
Cool.
started, great, thank you.
You're welcome. 16 minutes and 22